What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% NUFC. So this is episode 6 of the NUFC Fan Talk. I am joined by Peter outside St James's Park, and I will have Arthur on due this video as well, so you'll get his thoughts on all matters Newcastle United. So we've got 3 bits of news to cover this week. So the first one was last night, Newcastle being drawn at home to Leicester City in the second round of the Carabao Cup. What's your thoughts on that? And Perez potentially returning as well.
It's not going to be an easy game, is it? I mean, Leicester either got Perez, he'd be coming back up here whether he starts the game or not. But yeah, you could point advantages. It is a home game, and Bruce said he wants to try and go for the cup, so you've got a question. Hopefully he'll put a strong team out, and then yeah, if he does put a strong team out, then we've got a really good chance to try to get something out of the game.
And what do you make of the actual draw itself? Because some fans were saying, we might end up getting beat. It's an old Premier League tie. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been away from home.
Yeah, definitely. But when you get a home air tie, you're thinking it's a bit more of an advantage. So yeah, but it'll definitely not be easy. Leicester City. Well, I know they have Brunk Perez, but I know they're a bit of a hit-and-missy team, but I think they've got a good manager, Brendan Rodgers, and they've brought some new faces in as well.
Perez as well coming back?
Yeah, definitely. Oh.
Wait and see on that one. And also, are you a little bit gutted that we didn't get Sunderland or a League 1 or a League 2 club, Carlisle or Morecambe?
Oh, maybe a little bit, because as I said, we're playing a boycott a home game, so if it could have been a bit closer, we could have maybe got something like Carlisle, not too far to travel up there. But yeah, I'm a little bit gutted, but I know this is at home, but it is
what it is. The tie is what it is. You just got to get on with it and hope to try and get 3 points.
Well, not 3 points. Hope we don't get knocked out. That's the main issue.
You know what I mean, a win. Anyway, so we'll move on to the boycott on Sunday now. In my opinion, I've said on record before, it was a failed boycott. I mean, 300 fans outside the ground.
What's a failure? There was still about 47 that still went in the game. What kind of a boycott was that?
And there was been excuses saying, it was pissing down the rain and things like that we couldn't do. But that's a feeble excuse.
No, you can get in the bar and watch it still if you're planning a boycott. I mean, to be honest, it appears that they just said they wanted a boycott just for one game. You can't just boycott for one game. You've got to boycott every single home game of the season. The people that still went there, you've still put money in Ashley's pocket. That means he's still going to be here. I mean, there was 47,000 out of 52, so there was only, 5,000 fans missing? I mean, explain that, man. I mean, a boycott is, if you look at the ground, right, it's 52,000. Half of that is 26,000. 75% of that is 39,000. I'm going off the maths here, and there was more than 75% of the crowd there, 40-odd thousand. So at the end of the day, we've just proved there and then when the big opportunity came, with Sky Sports being the live broadcast of the game, we simply couldn't do it. No, I know the fans want to go in to go and support the team, and that's fair enough.
Yeah.
We have nothing against
no, definitely
supporters
not.
go back to support the team, and that's
definitely
fair enough. But yeah, we've got our reasons for staying away. So yeah, but for staying away for this season that's the thing why we're doing it for the whole season. So
let's sort of discard the Leicester game for the Carabao Cup, because it would have been Watford if it wouldn't been for the Leicester City Carabao Cup match. Watford, do you think there's going to be 52,000 fans? There's going to be no question there will be.
Oh yes, I think they'll be back to being packed out, nearly sell out. I wouldn't be surprised if that game was a sellout, to be honest, because you're thinking it's a team that you've got a chance of getting 3 points out of it. So yeah, I wouldn't be entirely shocked if the stadium was full up.
So now that we can confidently say it was a failure, what's your thoughts on future boycotts? Do you think they'll ever work?
I don't know, if you see you're going to boycott, just go with the boycott. I know you might get that pressured feeling. Well, I'll tell you one thing. After the game, I was interviewing DT from EFTV.
He's a good lad.
Oh yes, one of the best also YouTubers. Now he said things. He says your head says one thing, but your heart says another. He says stay away, got to get Mike Ashley out and all that. But your heart says I cannot go in there and support the lads. That's what he came out and said when I was doing the interview with him for my channel. So yeah, I know people do have that feeling, as to say, I need to stay. I'm not staying away because I can't put up with Mike Ashley anymore. But down here, the players need our support.
Yeah, well, that's it, because like, the lads haven't really done much wrong. Of course, we've gone through a managerial change. Ashley's done what he's done, and obviously, talking to Mike Ashley and Lee Charnley, there was some news that come out before the game against Arsenal on Sunday saying that, oh, you know, Benitez was there for the money. I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't get rid of. I couldn't do anything to keep him. You know, we should always get behind Steve Bruce. You know, Steve Bruce is, you know, the true man of the club, and you know, he's someone who we can trust. He's someone who cares about the football club. Yeah, I get that, but you know, Benitez wanted some money to try and build for the new season. Yes, we've got to move on from it, but then obviously Benitez has come out and said something like, you know, I can't trust the board now. Who do you believe more, rat-faced Lee Charnley or Rafa Benitez? Because I know who I trust.
Rafa Benitez, obviously. I mean, Charnley's statements, there's what you call statements that may as well be wrote out in crayon.
Because he just
absolutely pathetic, man. Lee Charnley, resign. Just resign. Don't come back here ever again. I know, yes, you don't say words and all that. You're just one of those what you call puppets that goes on Mike Ashley's hand. But them statements, I mean, you've taken the piss, man. Really. I mean,
and he's basically said, oh, the fans need to sort of calm down. You know, we've spent 61 million quid. Bear in mind that, you know, the players that we've signed, I mean, yeah, they're all decent players. I mean, they're improving, but I still believe we should have signed more, and that's not me being greedy.
Yeah, and I know we've spent that much, but one transfer window is not going to change my opinion like that, unfortunately. So, yeah, pathetic statements, man, Lee Charnley. I know, just resign. We don't want you back here anymore.
Do you not feel a little bit sorry for Benitez as well? Because I feel like,
yes,
you know,
well,
he asked for money.
Who would ever come here and trust working for both of them?
Steve Bruce.
Well, but just willing, those kind of managers that are willing to just suck up that kind of pressure. Well, Rafa Benitez says, you can get fucked right off.
So I'm joined by Archer. So we've been drawn against Leicester City in the Carabao Cup second round. What's your thoughts on that one?
It's can't really say much, but it's just what the cup is.
It's what you get, isn't it? I mean, you just got to go with it and just hope that one gets a win.
Just go with the flow. And obviously he says that he wants to go for a cup one, but if he wants the cup one, you need to go for your strong opposition. Go for the strong team that you want to go for. But it's Leicester, and obviously Perez is coming back to St James Park. Whether he'll be on the bench, whether he'll start, but he just the team just need to go out there and put in a performance.
Well, that's it. Like you were saying, strong opposition. If we really want to do well in a cup competition, regardless if you say, you know, we could have got a League One or a League Two club, you're going to come up against Premier League clubs anyway en route. Yeah. So I think it's important that, you know, Leicester might be a good test for us, and we're at home, so we've kind of got advantage. And it could have been worse. You know, we could have got the two Manchester clubs. Now we're going to quickly move on to the boycott on Sunday. Now you were at the game,
yes,
so you could probably speak more for the game than what I can. But from the outside, there was only 300 fans outside, which I do respect those guys who did it. It wasn't the best of conditions, but using that as an excuse to why the boycott was a failure is a feeble excuse. I don't think it was really programmed properly, and I can understand that fans are passionate, you know, they love the club, and you were in the ground. So what was the whole feel of the match? It felt very flat.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, so obviously I was in the game on Sunday. The ground itself was just completely, just absolutely flat, is what you say. But the atmosphere was just like pretty much dead.
Was that because of the second half performance? Because they said it was quite lively in the first half, but the second half, was it the sort of poor conditions and obviously Newcastle not, you know, stepping up their game from the first half that the crowd just sort of just went, and obviously the substitutions weren't brilliant either. There was nothing really to get behind. Do you go along with that?
Yeah, I do. Obviously, like the second half, like obviously we don't have like someone replace like
Shelby.
So obviously we had four four defenders and two attackers. So
There was no midfield, was it?
no midfield. So
Longstaff went off as well.
Longstaff came off for Alex and Maximin. Then he brings on Jacko Willems for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, so why bring a left back on to replace Shelby? But obviously, that's all he could do. But
You know, I mean, I guess it was tactical. I mean, we lost the game 1-0. So what did you make of the overall sort of atmosphere? Like after the game, was it just as you were, just very flat and just you know, it's kind of what you expected?
yeah.
Because normally it's quite buzzing here, isn't it? You know, I mean, obviously we've got the managerial change and things like that. You know, the fans should be upbeat for the first game of the season, but what's gone before, it just didn't look, it just wasn't pleasing, was it? I mean, if that's what it's going to be for the rest of the season, then we should be a little bit concerned.
Yeah, well, we should but we just have to
See what happens.
See what happens all through the season. But this Alexander Maximin, he's just a handful. Once he comes on the pitch, he just wants to run constantly, run out the defence.
Yeah.
But it's only the first game of the season.
Well, that's it. That's it. Like, you know, you take positives from the first half. Second half, not so good. Move on to Norwich. But last but not least is the Lee Charnley statement before the match. Basically having to dig at Benitez, saying that, you know, we should get behind Steve Bruce. You know, he's a supporter like us. And basically he's the one who knows the club inside out. And he's basically saying along the lines of Benitez, you know, left for the money. Benitez has had his say back at Lee Charnley. And Lee Charnley's basically come out and said that, you know, I've done my utmost to keep Rafa Benitez, which I think is a lot of bullshit in my opinion, just like the rest of the, you know, shite that he goes to say in the papers and things like that. But what's your thoughts on that? I still agree with all the other fans that I think Benitez was shafted out the door. Of course we'll have to move on from him, but the fact that Lee Charnley is still bringing Benitez up now is still concerning, because we need to move on from Rafa Benitez. He's, as much as he was a successful manager, I still agree with everything Rafa Benitez says, but now isn't the time to be coming up with things like this.
I know, I totally agree with you. It's just wrong. It's just wrong how the way they've done it. Like with the statement saying that Benitez only left to go to China for money. That's nothing. That's just bullshit.
Benitez didn't leave for the money, because Benitez obviously wanted to build Newcastle up. He wanted to get Newcastle in the top 7. This stadium right behind you here, this for me, and I've said it before, is a Champions League football ground. You know, we've had some of the best players in the world play at this football ground before Mike Ashley, and then since Mike Ashley's come in, he's ruined every bit of spirit that we had in this football club.
It's all Mike Ashley's fault for the past 12 years, is it?
Yeah.
He comes in, and what does he do? Fuck up the stadium, and no wonder the fans didn't like him. They want him out of this club.
You know, I'm not saying Steve Bruce can't be a success at Newcastle. That's not what I'm saying. But when Benitez was here, he wanted this stadium to be a fortress.
Yeah.
He wanted this stadium to be a place where one day he could deliver European football, whether that be the Europa League realistically.
That's what he was aiming for, and he didn't get it, and he wanted to have his own players in.
Yeah.
And obviously they had, whether it's true or what, but they were just like bang, giving it all that, saying that we did get offered a chance to give Benitez a new deal, but we couldn't get it.
Well, whether that was legit though, we can't really speak of that. Like, so I think it's definitely come out from the wrong way. But I'm sure that it's like two kids in the playground, man. You know. But I like how Benitez is speaking up. I will say that for what other managers have done in the past. You know, they've walked away, taken their money, and that's it. I respect Benitez in that way, but I think now it's time just to draw a line under it, move on and try to look forward. I think that's all we can do as football fans, and the last thing we want to be hearing is Benitez this, Benitez that. As much as I love the guy, he was fantastic for this football club. I will put it on record and say he's done some amazing things at this football club. He made me believe again. But we've got Steve Bruce now. He is the head coach. I've had me a little bit of banter about him. I've said this, I've said that. But we can't do much more now. We've just got to simply get on with it and move forward and try and do the best we can.